Developing tonight, a player for the Boston Celtics is being charged with assault, strangulation, and kidnapping after a domestic incident. Boston police say they are guarding Jabari Bird at a local hospital where he was taken for evaluation. I'm Katie Bryce.
And I'm Ken MacLeod. Thanks for joining us. Police tell us the incident happened in Brighton last night. The WBZ team first learned that Bird was in custody at St. Elizabeth's Hospital. The victim of the assault was taken to a different hospital for their injuries. Bird, who is a guard with the Celtics, was a second-round draft pick a year ago, and he's in the second year of his two-year contract. Now, the Celtics released a statement saying, quote, "We are aware of the incident involving Jabari Bird and are taking it very seriously. We are actively gathering information and will reserve further comment at this time."
New tonight, Boston police are asking for your help identifying two men wanted for an assault in downtown. The department's civil rights unit is investigating the assault that happened just before 11 p.m. on August 25th. Officers say it began on Hanover Street and continued onto the Rose Kennedy Greenway. If you recognize these men, please ask that you give them a call. You can remain anonymous.
Manchester police are still looking for a murder suspect after a tense standoff stretched into the night in New Hampshire. SWAT teams surrounded a home in Manchester and blocked off several streets in the area. Police also put a nearby high school into lockdown for several hours. But the suspect, who's wanted in a deadly shooting, apparently eluded that dragnet. He is still at large.
A luxury cruise ship has left Newport, Rhode Island after getting stuck in Buzzards Bay Friday. The Star Pride lost power with hundreds of passengers on board. The ship was on the last leg of a 17-day journey from Iceland to New York. Friday night, it stopped in Newport so the Coast Guard could inspect that ship before resuming the voyage.
Folks in Quincy have a new green space to enjoy tonight, which also pays tribute to a pair of native sons who were also founding fathers of this nation. The new Hancock Adams Common was dedicated this morning in the heart of the city.
WBZ's Paul Burton reports that the Common is part of a statewide effort to bring a bit of beauty to urban areas.
Filled with music, cannons, and a host of patriotic figures, history was unveiled in Quincy on Saturday. Founding fathers John Hancock and John Adams took center stage at the dedication of the Hancock Adams Common.
Here we are today to honor and unveil a work of art that pays tribute to two signers of the Declaration of Independence.
The $35 million project, located in the heart of Quincy Center at the Old Town Hall, is full of gardens, fountains, walkways, and flanked by monuments of Hancock and Adams, both native sons of Quincy.
Fountains for civic engagement, as well as another fountain at the south end for reflective, closer to the cemetery. So there's places to celebrate, places to sit and read a book.
City officials say this long-awaited green space is decades in the making. It's more than 3 acres in size and highlighting the rich history of John Hancock and John Quincy Adams.
What the founders did for us, the legacy they left and created for us, we're proud of our city.
The park is also part of the state's effort to create and restore parks in underserved urban neighborhoods.
It's pretty hard for me to imagine how the United States of America happens without John Hancock.
Taking what was once a 4-lane road and uniting a community with an important part of its history.
I'm so glad in my lifetime we got this fabulous example to perpetuate for the next generation.
In Quincy, I'm Paul Burton, WBZ News.
Beautiful day to have that down in Quincy. Got the cool weekend thing going on.
Yes, we went, deep summer last weekend, and now we're just going to fall, Pamela.
Yes, we are. It feels great out there. I had my first pumpkin spice latte to celebrate the big change in the weather. It feels great out there. Still a little bit of warmth, too. Temperatures were in the 60s most of today, but it definitely feels like the change of the season. And we had extremely low dew point temperatures, right around 50 degrees. Some communities to the north in the 40s. Completely different than those high humidity levels and dew points in the low 70s like what we had yesterday. Wet day on Monday, though, as we see a warm front moving in. That's going to bring us another wave of heat and humidity, and we're watching the tropics as things get rather active. Florence likely headed for the East Coast next week, and here is what's going on. We have Florence. We have a tropical wave near Bermuda, not expected to become a storm or a problem for us. Isaac, now a tropical storm, and we have Helene, also as a tropical storm, and all these expected to strengthen. Tropical storm Florence has strengthened to a very strong tropical storm, borderline borderline Category 1 hurricane moving west at 5. This will continue to rapidly intensify over the coming days, perhaps becoming a Category 4 major hurricane once we get towards the end of next week. Thursday, perhaps making landfall across the southern and eastern coast of the U.S., maybe near the Carolinas, but anyone across the east coast and southern coasts of the U.S. need to monitor this for sure. We'll keep you posted. For tonight, we have actually a little bit of a risk of some minor splashover due to astronomical high tide, and the seas have been churned up a little bit with a persistent onshore flow, so there could be some minor issues along the coast with a high surf advisory for Sunday across the south coast, Cape and Islands. Dangerous rip currents and increased swell, wave heights between 5 up to 8 feet just offshore. Meanwhile, it's the cool weather. Overnight lows in the 40s to the north. Clouds expected to linger across Boston and areas south, so that's why we'll be a touch milder in the 50s, but still feeling really good tomorrow. High temperatures in the 60s, again, low dew points, but a little bit breezy, especially along the coastline where we have that northeast wind. The Red Sox forecast for tomorrow, cool 60 degrees. Clouds stay in play, though. Patriots and Texans tomorrow afternoon, cool and crisp. Definitely football weather by the fourth quarter will be in the mid-60s. The dry weather dominates, high pressure and control for the rest of the weekend, but our next chance for rain moves in as we get into Monday, and that's because of a warm front. So it's brief, cool weather, briefly dry, but here comes the humidity again. And the heat back in the forecast by the end of the week with some 80s on the 7-day. Back to you.
Notice Pamela didn't forecast any scores for those games.
Yes, that was wise on her part.
Just temperatures. All right. Thanks for logging on to CBSBoston.com.
Hope to see you tonight at 11 for WBZ News, at 11 over on Channel 4.